Welcome, good people. Welcome, good people. We're so grateful that you guys decided to hang out with us. It's another Saturday night at 9 o'clock with the fellas, and we're live in the cave. We're waiting on one more guest, but in the meantime, we're going to do our typical introductions. I am drinking wine tonight, which is not common. I'm usually drinking some whiskey or bourbon, whatever, Glenn, drinking some whiskey or bourbon. But tonight is a wine night. Thank my friend Melissa for my Stella Rose Black recommendation after I have been ridiculed by some of the finer wine fans. Yeah, I'm good with this because it's like crack.
So you a crackhead now, bro?
I'm a crackhead. I'm a crackhead.
Well, I mean, hey.
Yeah,
admitting it is the first step to recovery.
That's right.
That's right.
You gotta own your shit,
hey.
Mel. You gotta own your shit. That's
Even crack. I own that crack.
Even crack.
Right.
Even crack. Josh, can you hear us, man? Are you good with? You got a good signal?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah, buddy. JP in the building.
Yeah, you might. Man, look, you got on the Men in Black
You got a tie.
outfit.
You got the glasses that too, brother. You got the glasses too.
No, that's true.
Hey,
My man was at a wedding. Leave alone.
Okay,
he was at a wedding.
Yeah,
Hey, you give a whole new meaning to Blackbeard.
Right.
Hey,
that's awesome.
Josh, why don't we start with you, man, with the introductions? We'll go Josh, Rob, and then the typical Three Stooges. We'll say our part. But I know you have a quite interesting background, man, in professional basketball and all kind of things, man. We want to know what you're doing now and all of that. So for all the people, man, that are joining us and watching, Josh, tell us who you are.
Josh Powell, Atlanta native, went to NC State, and then went to pursue my basketball dreams after 2 years of college. Played for pretty much 18 seasons. Now I am currently a part of the Big Three. I am a business owner, I am a father, and I am a big into philanthropy, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yeah. Well, we are honored, man, to have you. I know that part of your history is with the Lakers, and Glenn is, unapologetic.
Yeah.
The world's biggest Los Angeles Lakers fan.
He's a two-time champion with the Lakers.
You got some of them rings over there, Josh.
Right.
You got some of them rings.
I got them.
All right.
Josh played with the Lakers when they were a respectable organization.
Here we go.
2010, no championship. They earned those. You know what I'm saying? Those are new championships.
Producers,
Congratulations, brother, on all your success.
Producers, do we have a rattler from Mel? Because he's back. We need to give him something, put in his crib, and calm him down.
Hey, Josh, you got a great record, man. You got a great career.
Hey, Rob Hazard of the Hazard Group, my man.
Yeah.
My man's in them.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey.
You got a t-shirt on under that shirt?
Rob's a boutique guy.
I'm asking for a friend.
Man. Yeah. No, brother. I'm just rolling in here, man, with 2 seconds to go. I beat you in here tonight, which I'm happy.
Well, that ain't hard to do. That's like being taller than me. That ain't, that. You don't really get no credit for that,
Okay, all right. Hey, thank you, for having me. I'm Robert Hazard. That's all I got to say for you. We'll do more later.
Oh man, we kid and joke, man, but you are one of my favorite people. Period. I'm sharing wine with you tonight, Rob.
That's it, man.
You are unapologetic,
man.
One of my favorite people, and I hope that our friendship gives me the green light to kid with you and give you a hard time the way I do, because I would certainly never do it if I thought it would at all jeopardize the closeness I feel with you and for you, brother. So
absolutely, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I mess with you because you're my man. Yeah, I mess with you because you're my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
We just had a moment.
That's right. It's the wine, man. See, the wine makes me mushy.
He's drinking Stella Rosa, and all of a sudden it's a kinder, gentler Shawn.
You still ain't buying the ladies no drinks, though.
No.
I don't think you get any of that Stella Rosa, ladies. It ain't happening tonight for you.
Yeah. I just saw a video with some little girl saying, if he not buying you something, some kind of purse or something, and paying your bills, get rid of him. I was like, yeah, whatever. Nell, while you drying those dishes, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've done, man.
My name is Mel Roberson.
It is.
Outside of being one of the regulars of Live from the Cave, the weekly Man Cave talk show,
Absolutely.
hosted on NDTV, Keisha Rose's favorite poet, who's one of our producers. I am in.
I'm gonna throw up. I was about to throw up. Go ahead. I'm about to throw up in a minute.
Okay. All right. Great. Let me know when I start lying, though. You throw up all you want. Let me know when I start lying. Yeah, I am an Amazon best-selling author, 5-time Amazon best-selling author, about to be 6-time Amazon best-selling author because I have a book coming out with Glenn. This is my first project with him. I'm an accomplished actor. I've been on Chicago PD, Empire, The Chi. I have movies on Netflix, Amazon. I have 4 or 5 different businesses that I'm working right now. Serial entrepreneur and a lover of life. And out of everything that I've done, the most important thing is raising my 2 beautiful, amazing daughters. My youngest of which is an Olympic hopeful. She runs track and field at a D1 university in Dallas. And my oldest is the head of wardrobe for a major network television show. That's me. And I'm having tequila tonight. So I'm not going to be responsible for what happens later on.
Oh, you're switching it up tonight.
Understood. Okay. Before I get into Glenn, Josh, I'm gonna ask you to see if you can see how your screen looks, and I'm sure the good people want to see more than your nose and forehead. I don't know if you are.
I think he's frozen. What? I think he may be frozen.
He may be frozen. So if you get that message when you come back on, give us all a full view. You know, let the ladies. I don't know if you're married or not, but I'm sure the ladies want to see more of you. Glenn Murray. Everybody who's listening, turn the volume down on your device.
Glenn Murray. That's not me.
Hold it. Rob. Yeah, that's me. Hold it. Let me figure that out.
Rob coming in here disrupting things.
You know.
All right.
As long as it ain't another nipple gate, you know, we all right.
That's later. He's just waiting. Wait till the alcohol kicks in.
Get a little more alcohol. He's just gonna take his shirt off, Glenn. He's gonna take his whole shirt off.
So we know.
Yes.
So you're prepared.
Yeah. Hey, if I see something I've never seen before, I'll shoot it.
Okay, getting back to the introductions.
Glenn Murray, you are?
My name is Glenn Murray. I won't do that. I'm an Aries and I like long walks tonight. That's a whole nother show. Float on. That's right. Glenn. The name of my company is no longer 220 Communications. We are now known as 220 Holdings. We changed it. We've rebranded for a good reason, though. For a great reason. So we've rebranded into 220 Holdings, which includes Wine Crawl, Publishing, and a new business that I formed through COVID, where I actually leveraged the talents of several marketing people and created a company called 220 Media and Marketing. And we've already signed a couple of clients. We do social takeovers. We've actually teamed with a company out of the UK to do digital advertising. It's really a brand awareness company. So it's really off to a great start. I've got some great people that I work with. Vania Hudson, Elisa Inez, Justin McMullen, Rosie Paldudo, Annie Bialaruki, to name a few, and Janie Lee. So those are some of the people I work with. So
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Janie Lee is her name. Thank you, Mel.
I thought you said Jamie Lee. I was about to say, wow.
Go back to transition.
I'm not gonna lie. She was one of my first non-of-color crushes.
Me too.
Yeah. You know, y'all saw Trading Places. I know both of you.
Trading Places. She came out of her shirt and changed my life.
Superb. I knew it. I knew that was the movie. I knew it.
Yeah. I was like, I think I love her. I think I love her.
Anyway,
Oh,
so I'm very excited about that. We'll be announcing it. This is actually before we even made a formal announcement. We've done this, but we've actually signed a couple of clients now. And as Mel said, we have a book coming out within the next couple of weeks called Faith, Failure, and Success, which Mel wrote an amazing chapter on. I have to give credit where credit is due.
Well, I look forward,
Thank you,
man.
sir. I appreciate that.
I look forward to being exposed to that, man.
Yeah, and Rob contributed a great quote as well. He's in the book as well.
You got a picture there with his shirt off?
And Keisha Rose wrote a letter to faith, a thank you letter to faith is what it's called.
Oh, that's dope.
Aww.
Yeah, it was. Can we move on with the show?
Well, since we're talking about writing, I think Rob was a part of this project too. I hope that Jamie's watching, but I'm looking forward to moving forward with the project with Jamie. Letters to the Little Boy, Volume 2.
Yes.
Rob and I both have some pieces in.
I do too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
one of the best things I ever wrote is in that book. I wrote a letter to my younger self, and I'm so proud of what I wrote. I never brag on what I write because I don't write that much. I'm more pushing people out there, but I wrote that. It was very heartfelt, very meaningful to me. So I can't wait till that book comes out.
Yeah,
the two of you are in it too. I'm so glad that the two of you are in it as well.
Yeah, it's my first time doing anything like that, man. As much as I've had my own book aspirations, and I probably want to talk with you offline about that. You may be able to light the fire under me that I need because I've always wanted to go down that road. But she continued to mention transparency in terms of your submission, and I really humbled myself and put some things in there that I don't speak on the regular. Some frailties and some realities for me. But after purging them, I felt no reservation, no shame about doing it because I believe in, being authentic, regardless whether it puts you in a, vulnerable place or an exposed place or whatever. I value the authenticity. So, and I always shared it with one person. And they thought that it was, well done and thought that I had done it in a genuine way. And that meant a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Writing is one of the best things you can do for therapy. One of the things I did after my mother passed was actually the counselor suggested that I write. And I wrote something on her birthday. I'll never forget it. And so many people came back to me because it brought memories back to them of loved ones they had lost. And it was powerful, but it's powerful therapy. Writing is powerful therapy. Even on Faith, Failure, Success, I wrote a little bit about her in that section and talked about her being one of my heroes. I wrote a chapter called Find a Way, where it talks about people who have overcome tremendous odds to do amazing things. So I wrote a little bit about her there, and it was a kind of a cleansing, even to be able to talk about it. Sometimes, before it was difficult. So I would suggest to anybody, writing out your feelings is a powerful way to heal.
Yeah, I spent some time journaling after losing my mom, and it was particularly therapeutic, man. And especially I think especially if writing, because I grew up writing song lyrics and poetry and prose. And so it's not an unfamiliar space for me at all.
Right.
And so, there was a time, believe it or not, as many different things as I do, I was the most confident in my ability to write, so so it's not a place. And I say that just to say that it's not a place that I'm hesitant about or that I have reservation about entering in. I feel very free and very comfortable when it comes to expressing my thoughts that way. So with that said, I'm honored to be the host of Live from the Cave. I've been with the guys for the last 14, 15, 16 weeks or so, constantly trying to expose people to the show, get them in. I made a major effort this week trying to invite people. I do a couple of different things, do some things in music. I have in the last 30 days, and Mel is probably the only one that I've actually told this, even though I've referenced it during the show and never spoken on it. But about a month ago, I decided to go full time with my photography, and so that is my primary gig right now. And I'm prouder of the willingness to step out there on faith than anything.
Yeah, congratulations,
Good
man.
stuff,
Your,
man.
your eye is
Congratulations on that.
amazing too, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because I've known you for years. Your eye is amazing. Your photography, some of the stuff you've done, the couple photography,
Pretty dope.
and some of the individual stuff is amazing.
I appreciate it, man. I actually had a great couple shoot this afternoon with Gamma and Trevon out in Indian Head. It was also like an engagement shoot, and then I had the pleasure of shooting, man, one of my best and long time friends who may be watching because I talked to him 15 minutes before we went on. Kevin Brown, KB, K to the B, Cole Rocket and Mike. I shot him and T, and that's one of the friends I've had that I can't remember life without having him as one of my friends. That's how long it's been. So I'm having a good time, man, and I'm grateful for the chutzpah to go at it, and so I appreciate the support I get from anybody, whether it's in the form of some business or just in the form of some well wishes or prayers. And I was telling somebody, man, that I never thought that the primary response that I would get would be congratulations. I was never really prepared for that. But I tell you, every single person that I've shared that I've decided to take my love for photography full time, the first thing out of their mouth is congratulations. And I guess it's congratulations in your willingness to free yourself from the corporate pressure and all of that and do your own thing. And yeah, man. So I'm glad for what the journey is going to be. Hard or easy, I'm glad for what I'm going to learn on the journey. There's Josh. He made it back, and we can actually see his whole face.
We
can
see you,
all
brother.
some features now.
Yeah, we see you, man.
Hey, man. So let's get into some things, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm repulsed by 45's voice. Yeah, so I'm really unable to listen to him talk, and I voted already, so it kind of like doesn't matter what anybody says at this point because I've already, voted and done what I'm gonna do. But it's hard for me to listen to somebody that I think is so inherently narcissistic and morally bankrupt. So I see Josh's wheels spinning, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about it. But yeah, I don't watch the debates. I don't. If I see him talking, I turn the channel. But I heard that the debate was interesting. It was good. I even heard that he was wise enough to back off that rude shit, and he did a little better than he had previously. And as my brother said, Joe basically had to kind of hold court. That's really all he really needed to do. But what do you guys have to say about it? If you watched it, what did you think about it? I heard the sister did pretty well moderating it. What do you guys have to say about it? And Glenn, I lean on you because I feel like you're really passionate about your political acumen. I actually enjoy hearing your take on it. So why don't you start us off?
Okay. Well, I got amazed at some of the reaction from people about it. There's a couple of things that really stuck out to me. People were like giving the president so much credit for being reserved and everything else, but I'm like, okay,
acting like a normal human being.
Yeah, that's like the participation trophy when you're like the 12th man on the team and you get a trophy because you showed up for practice every day.
Right.
You didn't actually do anything. You didn't actually star in it. You didn't actually achieve anything, but here you lavish praise on him, and some people were like, oh, it's a tie. And like, it's not a tie. Just because he didn't yell, there were still lies. There was still no admission of COVID, of any responsibility for COVID. You
like giving a daddy credit for taking care of his kids when
you should take care of your kids. You don't get a trophy for that.
Right.
People were like, well, he talked about the Joe Biden has had 47 years to do, and he's done nothing. And I'm like, well, Trump has had 72 years, and he has he's been sued for discrimination. He talked about veterans. He talked about John McCain. He did all of this.
Disabled.
So you're trying to give me all these oranges, while Trump has all these apples, and like you're not looking at it the right way. And then people talked about the crime bill from 1994. But what you have to look at, and I actually researched this, the vote was something like 83-15. If Joe Biden had voted, I don't care what Joe Biden could have done. Joe Biden could have ran down, smacked the Speaker of the Senate, rolled down the aisle in the Senate, held up a black flag, joined the Nation of Islam, and then whatever else he needed to do. That bill
He
was
couldn't
going
join the nation, though.
know what else, but the bill was going to get passed. The bill was going to get passed no matter what he did. So if you're going to blame him in 1994 for something that happened that he's come back and said, I probably shouldn't have done it, but then you're going to not hold Trump responsible for everything that he's done in his career. That, you know,
I'm gonna take a liberty right now, Glenn, because I'm losing my mind watching Josh.
Definitely.
I understand that some of Josh's past has put him in a different financial bracket. And what I've learned is that a lot of times that piece trumps, no pun intended, trumps every other piece. And so because of that reality, I'd love to hear from Josh. I won't say what my personal thoughts are about that dynamic. But I think that while we have discussed Trump enough that I know where you guys stand on him to a degree, Josh, I have not met. And I know that I have not made as much money as Josh. And pretty much everybody I know that has been sold on Trump has been because, he will protect that piece of what their life is. Because it can't be because he's a good dude. He's a raggedy ass dude. So it has to be, that piece that is. That's why I thought 50 wasn't news. I mean, he's rich. That's not news. You know what I'm saying? So Josh, and I want you to know I'm not putting you on the spot. My gut tells me that you have a bit of a different perspective, and I'd like to hear it.
My perspective is always different. It's not that he's not saying anything wrong. On a side note, though, it made me think that I wish our women could forgive us as easy when we make mistakes, but that's another conversation.
Hallelujah!
We might have to pick that one back up a little later.
Yeah, let's have that conversation tonight, Josh.
So we're gonna move forward. But the thing that I will say is I'm just tired of politicians playing on our emotions, especially in our community. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. I just think they understand how to play off of our emotions, and then there's a lot of fears. And there's a lot of talk, and it's not really any action. And regardless of either's past or their present, I just would like to see things be set in stone and put in place for our community. And it doesn't matter how it gets done. You know what I mean? They both, to be honest, they both have a past. They both have things that they've done. They both lied. They both said a lot of things. But I would just rather see something, more set in stone. And then I'm also so you got Trump on one end, and then you got Biden on the other. And I'm the type of guy that I like to know who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And I feel that people don't think about the fact that you can't necessarily, now this has nothing to do with my vote, you know what I'm saying? But you can't necessarily be mad at Trump because he's telling you and he's showing you what he's on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
What's interesting is with Biden is he's saying some things, doing some things. Yes, we do have a African-American female that will be VP if they do win it. I mean, it's all of those things, but I feel like he's playing off of the emotions. And I think another thing we don't necessarily think about is the fact that these presidents and the people who are put in power are just, they're not the ones who are actually calling the true shots.
You're right.
And I've done you know, a lot of research, going down a lot of rabbit holes, and I just, me moving forward and just how I live my life, I like knowing who I'm dealing with. And again, that has nothing to do with my vote.
I done tried to poison Mitch McConnell 46,000 times. It don't.
Right. And just to let you know, King, I've never voted based off of, you know, like what I've made or things like that. I'm always about the people. I think because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, it's better and it's healthier that everybody is in a better place instead of just, you know, a certain percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the whole. To me, that's the whole struggle, man. And to
Right.
hear you say that, knowing where you have traveled from a financial standpoint, that impresses me. I'll be very transparent, because most people that have seen the kind of checks you have seen, they toss every other dynamic out of the window, and that becomes the only thing that matters to them. So just the fact that you can dwell in that space, but it's your moral compass and your view of humanity that is what you base your decision on. I applaud you for that. Because I
Because I
doubt
think
that you.
too, you got to understand that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, King, but
No, that's all right.
I don't want to miss this point, because
Yeah,
it's like, even for the Democrats or the other people that get in place, like those people are still going to be financially much better off than most of us anyway, right?
no matter what
So
happens. Yeah,
it doesn't matter what side you're on. So
yeah,
those people are going to find ways to buck the system. There are ways to legally buck the system. You
yeah.
just
Yeah.
have to get the
Yeah.
game. So here's the other thing,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because of the I'm around and that I know, and the relationships and the resources, I'm able to learn and understand things that normally we wouldn't get in our communities. So
Sure.
the most
Right.
important thing is being able to bring that education back, be able to
Mm-hmm.
inform people, be able to share those resources. And that way, it doesn't matter who's in office, we still
Mm-hmm.
find ways to come together and do what we need to do to thrive as a community.
As a people, yeah.
That's what I think is the most important, and even more so, right? Think of this: we got to get people that's involved in their communities. We got to get people that's paying attention to what's going on in their counties. You know, from judges to the politicians locally and everything like that. That
Yeah, we've been
are
stressing that, man. The local
yeah.
election, we've been stressing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like we miss that, and we focus so much on the presidential part that we miss
Yeah.
all of the real important players that's a part of
Right,
everything else,
Right.
like this, you know, who's going to be in the cabinet and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
you know, we can't ignore that part of it and just feel like we just gonna come out and vote for the president, and then we just get frustrated because our needs aren't being met. I just really wish that, especially for, you know, my brothers and sisters in our community, we have to stop being so emotionally led. We got to start focusing more on facts. We got to start doing more research and educating ourselves a lot better, and get out of our feelings and just focus on the things that need to be done.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I want you to know that I'm not usually able to kind of watch the thread of comments as we go, but I was paying a bit of attention to the thread, and you are getting a lot of love for what you're sharing, and I just wanted you to know that. Somebody said Josh for office. I do, my girl Ro. I do think that LG peeped in. I've been trying to get my girl Anita to peep in for a while. So thanks, sweetie, for coming in and sitting with us for a minute. I do think that we are emotionally led. I think it's, I wouldn't say emotionally led, but I think inherently we're an emotional people. And
Of course.
oftentimes we allow our emotions to distract us from the logical piece of it. You know, it's about how it feels for us and not about necessarily what A, B, and C is. And I think I've been guilty of that, you know, myself, because I loathe that dude so bad that he could turn everything around and I would still want him to be kicked off a bridge. I
Right.
just loathe
So,
him.
But
so
Shondo,
here's an interesting thing, real quick, King. Is I had a conversation with my mom the other day. It was a heated discussion. It was like two or three of us at my house.
Yeah.
And the conversation of, you know, presidents came up and this, that, and the third, and there's back and forth. And I asked my mom one question. My mother did not answer the question because she was so pissed off She went all around. She went every direction, bro. Instead of answering what I actually asked, and then and before I even gave her a response, I said, "Ma, you're so upset. You're so whatever you're saying." Because the thing is about like my mother's generation is they watch the news, but they're only getting fed so much. They're not gonna like actually do the research and
Right.
dig a little deeper. So everything that she's spitting out is rhetoric from whatever she's watching and this, that, and the third. And my point to her was, Ma, we got to do better. Like we can't just say, you're basically telling me what I already know that's on the news, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else. When are you gonna do your own research and really learn more about these candidates than what they're just feeding you? Because we know that's programming. A lot of things that they're doing, is programming.
I
And
wouldn't
it don't
call it
matter what
programming,
side.
but I would say it's slanted. It's certainly slanted. I mean, you just watch the commercials on any network, and you can tell, the way they're trying to slant your perspective based on who they're supporting. So you definitely need to find a neutral and ambiguous source to try to do your research.
Right.
Don't watch Fox. Don't watch. You know what I'm saying? Like
Josh has such a good point about like not listening to the canned messages. You really have to research. I was barbershop conversation, which you should never argue with anybody in a barbershop or an Uber, and I've made both those mistakes about politics. But dude came in the barbershop and was complaining because he hated Obama because Obama never did anything for reparations. And I was like, you do know the president can't rubber stamp reparations, right? It has to be Congress. And you didn't go out and vote for Congress for him. So for 6 of his 8 years, he had a Republican Congress. He barely got affordable health care done because they tried to overturn it 60 times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you up here are pissed off at him because you didn't get your 40 acres and a mule. And
but you don't know what the process is, and you don't know
what
takes part in the process.
Yeah, and that's like 8th grade civics.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we take all the sound bites and all of this and not go and research how it actually works. People still think that the president's popularly elected. You talk about the electoral college, and people are going to look at you like you're talking Chinese.
Right.
So it's crazy. And the other thing, and this is just a pet peeve of mine, people talk about enthusiasm. I'm like, if you want to be enthused about something and excited about something, Mel has some great videos where he can encourage and excite you. This is a job interview. People are applying for a 4-year contract with you, and you can replace them after 4 years. You don't need to be enthused about everybody that's running for president. You need to get you some enthusiasm. There's Tony Robbins, there's TD Jakes, there's Stephen Furtick, and it's all free on YouTube. You want to go get enthused about somebody, go look at something and get motivated.
My girl Vaughn said, go back and watch Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a
bill. Exactly.
And I got as far as Capitol Hill.
But I'm like, people tell me, well, I'm not enthused about the candidate. That's not their job to enthuse you. They are applying for a job to run the country, pass laws that help us, keep us out of debt, keep us out of war.
Well, I would say 2 things about that, man. One of those things is the fact that we are inherently selfish. And so we can even make that about us. That situation isn't about us. And so we need to get better about separating ourselves from that mindset and look at the variables and deal with the variables. The other thing is the way the messages are disseminated, man. We tend to only listen, and I admit that I'm guilty of this. We tend to only listen to the things that affirm us. It's too painful to listen to the other side. And so we tend to gravitate to the vehicles that are going to affirm what we already believe, when we ought to spend some time. I give my brother credit for this, man. My older brother, Byron, he will spend hours watching Fox News. And in his mind, it's, I want to hear what the enemy is saying, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you should know the disinformation, the misinformation that's going on.
And that way, when you find that middle of the road place to do your actual research, you have a better chance of being able to separate fact from fiction and move forward as an educated voter. But I don't want to spend the whole time. It's 9:36. Lord knows I loathe the man too much to talk about him that much anyway. I'm just saying. Let's switch gears.
But I think that it is important to do research. because the president only has so much power. And I think that, when we look at the automatic race, we look at, judges and things like that here in Chicago. We need to do research on them as well, because there is where the impact lies too. So to Josh's point, to Glenn's point, and, to others.
Yeah.
But, CNN is probably not the vehicle, the channel to find all our information on.
Yeah, and I admit that I'm a CNN first thing in the morning, CNN last thing at night guy. So hey, check this out. He doesn't make very many personal requests, but a staple of this show, the Total Gent Mel Rob, has made an official request. He says it's his birthday month, and if you give him a gift, what you can do is share this show so that we can continue to be an entertainment piece and a vehicle for information. And also, what I really enjoy the most about the show is that we are 5 guys that are a relatively similar demographic, and we never agree wholeheartedly on every damn thing.
Right. So, man, I don't have to get you champagne if I hit the share button. I'm good with that. Then I'm done.
I was trying to hit that share
button. You still got
button.
to get him the champagne. You still.
He already has the champagne. It's at his house.
See there, he just being lazy. Don't want to bring it to you.
I don't get it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I have more than 5 bottles of champagne in my house right now.
Right.
Well, hell, I'm looking at 8 bottles of something over your shoulder.
Over there, right?
You don't even lie good.
Please, gentlemen, next time.
Nothing to see back there. Nothing to see. What are y'all talking about?
You don't even lie good, Glenn.
So let me just tell you all, not every show, but for the past few shows, you all have caught me in my kitchen from time to time. Some of my friends text me. They're like, "Man, you eating on your show?" Absolutely, it's a mandatory. We drink.
Right.
9 o'clock. I snack tonight.
It's late.
I made some roasted cashews with man. I'm trying to tell you.
Grow.
So
roasted cashews.
Right.
Eat them out of the bag. Most of us common folk eat them out of the bag, Mel.
No, so I roasted them on 375, just in case you all want to come back to the show later. Roasted them on 375 for 10 minutes.
Josh.
Then I basted them with honey, right? So it's a sweetness to it, a pinch of garlic salt.
He said a pinch. I don't know what a pinch is, but
yeah. For those of you, pinch means he poured some honey over it. He squeezed it out the bottle and made a little squiggly line.
And then I'm going to tell you all about these chili flakes, these spicy chili flakes, right? I got them off Amazon. I got my first jar of it I got from my aunt in Dallas, but then I mixed those up, put them back in the oven for an additional 12 minutes. And
he said 12, y'all. That's 12 minutes.
Not 15, the whole bowl. Not 10,
not 11. He said 12 minutes.
12.
And they were amazing. Just
Cooking
so you
with Mel coming to a screen near you. Facebook Live, Cooking with Mel.
Hey.
He really. No, don't say next show Cooking with the Kappas, because I can't cook like Mel. I'm real basic. I'm baking chicken and sauteing asparagus, and I'm maxing out right there. So yeah,
I cooked some lamb chops, Mel.
It's relationship.
I cooked some lamb chops the other night, man.
Hey,
I was like,
if it's Cooking with the Kappas,
to be quiet.
It's Mel cooking and me handing him shit.
Relationship question. Let's go. What we got?
Hey man. Hey, all right. Josh, are you married or single?
I'm divorced.
All right. I just like to know.
Robert, don't worry.
I can jump in there and not know what I'm working with, and then
No, you should jump. You should jump regardless. I'm gonna keep it funky.
Yeah.
So
I know what that's like, Josh.
We know what that's like, bro.
Yeah,
welcome. Let me pour some more tequila for that.
Right.
I'm gonna have a drink.
Replenish my wine in a minute.
I'm gonna have a drink for that one.
Yeah.
Right. My WHINE. So Rob is about to drink. How much time we got left? Rob is drinking. He might be naked by 10 o'clock.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay.
Hey, Josh, it's a long story, but ask
Yeah.
somebody about Nipplegate. It's a
Relationship topic, gentlemen, please.
relationship.
Come on.
Our
So
producers are pulling their hair out right now, and Raj doesn't have any hair. So
right,
that's
I was gonna say, well, what is Raj pulling his goatee, his mustache, his pubes. So look, I don't know that I don't know that I'm gonna do this question justice. So if I start to screw it up, one of you more articulate fellas can jump in if you know the subject matter that I'm talking about. But I watched a video, and this is a show that a guy evidently does with his wife.
Yeah.
Podcast. And so the premise of the question was, why do women pressure men? And I'm paraphrasing the question. These aren't my words. Why do women pressure men into sex and fidelity, specifically, because this is where their conversation went, and then are unwilling to fulfill the sexual needs with the frequency that the man desires? And so, and I don't know I don't know it to be true. Where did Josh go? I don't know that it to be true because I ain't never been married. I have had, a living.
So in other words, they want us to get them what they want without them giving us what we want.
Or as the production team says, why force monogamy and then hold out? And so there are a couple of questions that came from that. The first being the fact that the brother felt pressured to be married because the then girlfriend continued to reinforce to him her desire to be married. So I don't know if he was right or wrong in interpreting that as pressure, but he did own the fact that for him, that felt like pressure. Would that feel like, that's my first question, would that feel like pressure to you? I would imagine that the thing that defines it is whether or not you on board with the decision. So if you don't want to be married and they continue to talk about marriage, it's probably going to feel like pressure. If you want to be married and they continue to talk about it, you're probably saying, well, damn, let's get the planning going. So some of that may be defined by your own emotional address.
Right. But his thing was, Shawn, okay, you wanted to be married.
Yep.
And now we're married and I have certain needs. And now you're like, well,
right. And you want me to be faithful.
Yeah. And you want me to be faithful. And so you're not upholding your end of the bargain.
Right. When I tap you at night and say, baby, our time has come, on that old, I got a headache, boo.
Okay, Shawn, not as eloquent as I'd like to probably would have put it, but yes, somewhere along those lines. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna just back out of this one.
No, I wanna hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you got to say. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, Glenn.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Okay, all right. Well, then answer the question.
I talked a lot at the front half of the show, so I'm giving everybody else an opportunity to talk because that's what I do. Because I'm gracious like that.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna pressure you.
Mel
has been quiet.
Women want to husband me, so I get this. I understand. I mean, you know what?
Hey, me and Dos have no problem answering the question.
I want to hear from you.
Right.
I want to hear from you because Glenn is skirting and skating.
Hey, after Mel answers, I will come back and answer because I ain't scared. Don't be challenged.
Go ahead, Mel.
So here's the thing. Relationships fail because of lack of communication and unmet expectations. Period. If the communication on her part is for marriage and he doesn't want it, he should communicate that. If her expectation is for marriage and he's not willing to meet her expectations, he should communicate that. If his expectations are for frequent intermarital physical activities, he should communicate that, right? Like, you got to understand the partner that you get before you enter into that contract, because marriage is a contract, right? And so if you go into this, it's just like when you sign to play for a team, or when you sign to play for to be at a company, it's like, here's your job description, here's your expectations of the job. If you do not plan on meeting these expectations, then you don't need to play for this team, or you do not need to work for this company.
So let me challenge you. Let me challenge you. And I'm not going in on the ladies. As anytime Glenn and I voice our opinion, oftentimes we get attacked for, you know, being women haters or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care no more. Whatever, fight me.
But I've been a man a long time, and like it or not, one thing that I do know is that women often feel very comfortable changing the rules.
Yep.
And so my question then would be, what about the reality that oftentimes, and I'm just gonna say it like I want to say it, you can unfriend me or kick me out of whatever group I'm in. A lot of times, what a woman might be willing to do to secure you changes after she has secured you. And I have experienced that in real time. I won't say no names more than once. So what about that? So what if there really wasn't a communication disparity so much as I got the bag, now I can rock it however I want to because I got the bag.
But you can't. You only can if it's allowed. Like, I hire you to work in my club as a singer. As a singer, you are required to do a 2-hour set every night.
Yeah.
That you work at the club.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I only feel like singing for half an hour tonight.
Right.
Well, okay. Are you sick? Did your throat hurt? Did the band not show up? What's the problem? You might get away with it a night or two if I got a good DJ. But if you don't fulfill the requirements, at some point in time, my relationship or your relationship with this club is not going to be what it was initially.
Relationship ergo contract.
Yeah, the contract is the contract.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a medical purpose or something like that, it's different.
Been
but
there
if
too.
It's not, then I got to look at, you wanted all these things from me and you got these things. I wanted all these things from you. I don't got the things. I need the things.
I know got the things.
I know got the things. I need the things.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get wine, Rob. Speak on it. I'm just going.
Oh no, Rob is hearkening back to something. I can see it.
No. Hey, Glenn, that's why I want to hear from Rob, because his wounds is fresh.
Yeah, Rob is hearkening. Harken back, Rob. Harken back.
I just think that we start out one way with this is what we say we're going to do, and then something changes. There are a number of issues of why things change. I think Mel talked about it. You might not want to perform tonight because of various things.
Perform, didn't he? He said perform. I like that.
He did say perform, didn't he?
I did. I mean, but we come to, I've been married, before, as we've talked about. And so we do have a contract that says, here's the things that we expect to do. We expect to be loved. I expect to give you love. I expect to get love. And then for various reasons, whether it be medical or what have you, things change. And I think what the video was talking about is, we expect, some sexual pleasures.
Can't tell, that's funny. Uh-huh.
I know, right? And so I think that, there are a lot of men that perform too, though. But, I think that we need to come together in terms of communication and figure out what works.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting sex every night, but if I can get it at least 3 times a week, I'm good.
He didn't put a number on it, Glenn, ain't he?
It's 7 days.
That's somebody that want it like you want it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm much like Mel for the most part, that I personally believe communication is the resolve to it all. I do have to give space to the fact that you can communicate something and it can appear to be received, and then the rules of it can change. Glenn, all right, I see you talking under you. I'll be watching you. You're on that shadiness. But I think communication is as effective as authentic and sincere people allow it to be. If you're not really trying to be authentic and sincere, then the communication piece loses its value because you aren't being legitimate with it. But outside of that, I'm with Mel in the sense that, hell, I think 95% of the shit can be fixed with communication and just open communication and concise communication where there's no mysteries to it and everybody is on board with being authentic, like your man.
But vulnerability has to come into that too, Shawn.
What'd you say?
Vulnerability has to come into that as well. I think you did a post. Yeah, you did a post, not too long ago about cutting people off.
Yeah.
And I think that we cut people off too soon.
Yeah.
And we just don't do the work.
Oh shit, Mel.
Yeah.
Cut off game on week.
Before Mel says what we know he's gonna say, I think that you just have to be careful about your cutoff game because it may speak to your refusal to be accountable for shit.
Can we get Josh in this?
May speak to their scumminess.
Can
Some
we do
people
Game
need
of
to
Thrones
get cut off.
We do.
Okay, Mel. Mel, take a deep breath. Mel, take a deep breath. I need you to step away from
Is that a trigger?
Put the weapon down, Mel. Put the weapon.
That's the trigger, Mel. Put the sword down.
I'm about to go back to Winterfell.
I know, really.
I don't even know.
Put the sword down, Lord Mel of wherever you from.
We've been all over the place.
I am a lord, though. Hold
Josh
on.
might feel like,
talking.
what
I'll be right back.
talking about? We've been moving around so much. Josh might be like, which question you mean?
Right. I'm trying to figure out if I got to. We talking about trigger moments right now.
No.
I don't have a. Is that what we're talking about? We're not talking about trigger moments.
No, we're still talking about the whole expectation thing and marriage.
Okay. All right.
Marriage. So I want to hear Josh.
Let me go on mute. All right. Let me go on mute.
Josh,
talk to us, Josh.
I don't know why Josh tickles me so bad. He just sits back like these dudes is really out of their minds, and let me bring some balance to this conversation. Come on, Josh. What do you think about it, man? The whole everything, man. The whole holding out, the communication piece, the expectation piece, the pressure. Whether or not it feels like pressure. When I think your address determines whether it feels like pressure or not. But whatever you're hearing and thinking, respond to that and let us hear from you.
Y'all are talking about the clip, correct?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
You saw it too?
Of
course. I posted.
And he looked at his wife like, "Did you not say? Are you saying that you didn't?"
For one, I just really wish that women would stop attacking men when we open our mouths and express how we feel.
Yeah, man, that's why we don't. And I try to push that message all the time. We don't have a safe place to do it. Yeah.
I think that understanding a relationship that just as much as they want to feel safe, that we want to feel just as safe equally. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what helps us be more comfortable, feel more feel that we have that we can be comfortable being more vulnerable and really being transparent about the things that we feel. If we can sit back and listen to a lot of what our women feel or how they feel and the exact way that they feel, I just think it's only fair that same respect be given both ways.
We don't have a choice, Josh. They make sure we listen.
Yeah, right. But I also, not only that, but I'm tired of them also giving themselves excuses too on why they do the things that they do when they do it, because we don't get those same passes. We don't.
I'm so glad
we got to be perfect.
I'm so glad you're saying it because I pay a price for saying it every time.
Well, regardless of being perfect or not, I just think it's really unfortunate that whenever a man opens his mouth, we get attacked, especially when women are saying, you want to know how we feel, then we say that. And then it's like, nah, what kind of dude are you? Like, For him to say what he said, and for everybody to be like, just the women are like, just say you a dog, you ain't shit, da 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 da, and it's like they coming to him, and I'm like, all bro really saying is like, look, at the end of the day, what I took from it was he fell in love with this woman, in which we
Yep.
do,
Yep. We
and
do.
whenever we're in love with our women, we're willing to do things even if it's not comfortable, because it's like we're like, yo, I don't want to lose this woman. Now, whether you
Yep.
want to call that pressure, whether you want to call it whatever you want to call it, I'm not here to put a word or a label on it, but I do think that men do it to women, and I think that women will do the same thing for men. I think there are women out there who um, are open to things, or might say that they're willing to do things just to please their guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a
Yeah.
one-sided thing. You know what I mean? I think that should be looked at in a positive way, but it also needs to be looked at from the standpoint of like, okay, you say you're willing to do these things, but don't feel like you're losing yourself while doing those things. And if it's worth,
Right.
and everything is worth a conversation out of fairness, we got to stop shutting, to the queens out there, just please stop shutting your man down for expressing himself. Even if you don't agree with it, at least be open to hear him out. And that way you can gain an understanding. I don't think it's enough understanding going on. And and
Man,
and and on
man,
the
I'm so
flip,
glad you said
go,
that because I heard what you heard. I heard a man who was faced with some things that weren't ideal to him, but none of
right,
them were enough that he wanted to lose this woman. And
Right.
so he
right,
was willing to do that. And I think that oftentimes we get so hung up in trying to find the perfect mate. It's not always going to happen like that. And he weighed
right,
what he was going to be losing in this woman with what she wanted. And he chose her. He loved her enough to choose her through his discomfort. But that gets no recognition. That goes unnoticed. Oh, he just wants too much booty.
Yeah. I
You know
think
what I'm saying? Like,
Yanni said it best.
but
Like
here,
you
but here's
have a conversation at every level, at every stage of your relationship. You need to talk about what you want, what's
yeah.
Yeah.
important to you, and
Yeah.
that communication needs to be equal. And she talks about that a lot. And go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
no, that's a great point, and I think it's out of fairness putting the shoe on the other foot. I mean, how many times have women come to the table to express again the things that they want or how they want it? You know what I'm saying? And we're in a position where it's like, oh shit, like I got to make a decision, because if not, it's like it may go left or it may go right. Like it's not really something to talk about, like how things are done. And a lot of times we're manipulated. A lot of times, we're felt, or we're made to feel as though the things that are on our mind and on our hearts aren't valid, or they're not important enough. I just think that across the board, the respect has to be mutual, the love, the care, everything has to be fair game on both sides, instead of making one side feel bad just because he feels a certain way, or just because he's expressing his opinion
But check it
about,
out.
you know what I mean, whatever's on his mind about that
It's
specific fact.
easy to do us that way because
Mhm.
most of us grew up with a dysfunctional understanding of our own communication. So we're already uneasy about presenting that vulnerable, transparent space,
Well, the
especially to
bottom
a
line in
woman.
that,
And
Sean, the
then when they
bottom
don't
line is that
affirm it,
the bottom line is that society has set expectations for men not to be communicative, has set
Right.
expectations for men to be tough, to not be vulnerable, to not
Yep.
express themselves, to do all of these things.
absolutely.
So when women say that they want that, and they finally get a guy who's willing to be
They have
vulnerable,
no
to
idea what
communicate,
to
or
do with
whatever, and it's not even the thing that they have no idea know what to do with it. That's part of it. But then their societal values also kick in, and they're like, oh my God, like this guy is all of these. Here are all the things that I said I wanted, and now that he's doing it,
Yep.
I'm not so sure that I want it.
I want
I'm
it.
not so
Yep.
sure that I
I've
can
changed
handle
my
it.
mind. Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean? Or I changed my mind, because for some people, there is more comfort in the status quo than there is exploring what their expectations really are and finding somebody who is willing to fulfill them.
Right.
That's the difference. There are some people who are so used to drama that when they don't have drama, you know what I mean? You get a guy that treats you right, that does all of these things. So now they don't have drama, and they're so used to drama, they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because how many times have we
I've
met
never.
somebody that said that they wanted certain things, and then we deliver on those certain things, and then they change it and say, "Well, no, I don't really want that." You hurt me
Yeah.
wrong.
Or how
Yeah.
many times have you heard a woman say, "Oh no, he was too easy.
Yeah.
He's too something about him is too easy." I'm like, what do you want to do? Come home drunk and beat you at night? I mean, what's too easy? If a guy isn't giving you anything to worry about, concern of, where is that not a value? But that's because they have normalized the drama piece and somehow associate the drama piece with a valid relationship that has peaks and valleys. It doesn't have to have those kind of valleys. Why does it have to have those kind of valleys? Why do we have to fight? Why do we have to do all that? Why can't it be smooth sailing and we are just on a frequency that is not very disruptive? But I've heard women say, "Oh no, he was too easy."
Yeah.
Like almost
Yeah.
like he likes me too much to make sure
Yeah.
that I'm happy on every
Yeah.
level, and that
Right.
makes him unattractive. It's
And
like,
they
He's
need
not,
some
he's not,
drama. Yeah.
yeah, he's too nice. He's got too much. There's no
Yeah.
drama
So
there. But I
Yeah.
think it's communicating on a level of adults.
Yeah.
After like I said, once you get to your like 40th year of life,
Yeah.
you need to be real about what you want, and you need to be
Yeah.
real about how you communicate, because you
Yep.
have to understand that there's time out for that. There's time to play, and then there's time to like be real about what you want. And if you're not communicating early and often in a relationship about what you want, then it's not going to work.
yeah, I agree.
And but communicating in terms of what you want, those wants change over time,
They
right?
do. They do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
It's-
It's
because
But that's
not
we
what I
even
have
mean
just
about
that,
being
though, John.
honest about it, though. That's what I mean about being honest. If you're honest
that's the
about
whole piece of it.
Yeah.
Tell me that, if you want me to, I'm not gonna say some stuff, but I mean, if you want,
Okay,
if you
okay,
want, but
So,
yeah,
so here are the two aspects of it, though, right? There's desire and there's deserving. The first part is desire, figuring out what you desire, and this is true in relationships. This is true in success, right? So let me not even do this. Let me not even do the relationship part. Let me talk about success, right? In success, there's what you desire, and then there's what you believe that you deserve, in congruency with what you desire. So just because you desire, let's just say you want to be a millionaire, you desire to be a millionaire, you might not feel that you deserve to be a millionaire deep down. It might not be rooted in you. Flip that to the relationship side. You might say you want all of these things in a relationship, but do you honestly feel you deserve it? And what are your internal conflicts or struggles or things that you're dealing with that combat your desires?
right.
So it's like, man, I want all of this stuff, but deep down inside you, like, and it could
You're
be daddy
sabotaging
issues,
it.
it could be mama
You're
issues.
sabotaging it, but that's a big thing about don't bring your baggage into your next relationship too.
yeah, don't
You
bring the
bring a
baggage.
lot of whatever you dated, and some
It's
of
not
you
even,
have dated.
it doesn't even have to be what you dated, though, bro. It doesn't even have to be what you dated. You could have had people that loved you, that wanted you, that treated you good, but you didn't feel you deserved that because of some underlying issue that you have not uncovered yet or have not dealt with or whatever. And it has nothing to do with your previous dating life. And now, somebody is suffering because you don't even know that you don't feel that you deserve what you said you deserve.
Or missing out on the best parts of you because of that. Hey guys, this has been an awesome show, man. Josh, I'm glad you got back in because I didn't want to have to close the show without you being connected, man. You have been an incredible presence and an incredible voice tonight, man. And I want to tell you personally that I really enjoyed your perspective and I enjoyed what you brought, man, from a humor standpoint to a depth standpoint, man. I think you got all the bases covered, and I would love to have you back on the show, man. You really were insightful and certainly enjoyable, man. So thank you for spending some time with us. The hour goes by fast, man, as you know. But I want to tell you guys, man, I'm having a blast. Josh, I want you to give me some quick information about not only your organization, but your book, Love at War, before we get out of here. Give me a couple of minutes on that, and then we're going to say our goodbyes, man.
Well, first and foremost, I was going to tell y'all I'm humble for the opportunity. I owe y'all another show because of my internet. So definitely let me know when I can come back on. Definitely want to make that up to you.
I don't know if I could handle you with a good internet, dude. You were powerful enough in and out.
Right. Take a shot, Josh. Go
You're
ahead.
not
Take
bad
a
for a
shot.
Laker, bro. You're not bad for a
No,
former
no, no,
Laker.
no, no. It's
You're not
called a
bad for a former
champion.
Laker.
He's a champion. Get it right.
As a former Laker. You're not
Two
bad,
rings,
Josh.
baby. 2 rings he has. Okay, with
Tell
Kobe.
us about the organization and the book, man. Forget them fools. Tell us about.
But
Do your thing, brother. Go ahead.
the
You got the
organization
floor.
the organization is 21 Reasons to Give. Working on a few different projects. I actually got something coming up where we're doing a black tie event. I'm partnering with Mindful Sports, and we're going to put on a really nice event in Atlanta. I'm a part of this whole push with the mental health stuff. I am working on this book. Somebody y'all a heads up, but I think it'll be really cool to have a male and female perspective on relationship, especially not coming a couple. I think that is good to have 2 really good, solid minds come together and just be able to give some game about the foundation of relationship and just the different perspectives. So I'm very excited about that project. And again, just out here serving and doing what I do, being a part of,
Oh, he froze.
Yeah, you froze. But if you can hear us, man, we've put your organization across the screen for everybody to grab, and we put the book title across for everybody to grab. Didn't get to find out exactly where we can pick the book up, but I'm sure Google will answer that for us if we go online and search for it. So, hey, man, this has been a grand time, man. I enjoyed you guys. We covered the whole spectrum of emotions tonight. But it was all fun, man, and I enjoyed it all. Rob, I can't say enough how much I enjoy hanging out with you, man, in this space, and all of you guys, man. You're awesome. I'm honored and humbled to be able to associate myself with you guys and the show. And Josh, welcome back. Glad you made it back in. And so yeah, man, I'm just glad we'll do it all again. You know how we do. We do it all again next Saturday at 9 from 9 to 10. And we hope you guys will come on and join us, man. So from all the fellas at the Cave, this has been the Cave, and we'll see you next week for sure.
Deuces.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.